Part 2. Echoes of Connection. For 3 days, Naya barely left the royal nursery. She ran every diagnostic test in her medical arsenal, analyzing Alara's biological readings against both human and Varisian baselines. The infant remained eerily calm in her presence, but resumed her haunting cries whenever Naya stepped more than a few meters away. "It defies conventional medicine," she admitted to Thalen on the evening of the 3rd day. They stood on a balcony overlooking the crystalline bay, its waters reflecting the 3 rising moons. Thalen's gaze remained fixed on the horizon. "During the war, did you encounter any Varisian prisoners?" "A few," Naya answered cautiously. "I treated wounded regardless of species." "Then you might have observed that Varisian children maintain telepathic bonds with their parents until adolescence." He turned to her, his expression vulnerable in the moonlight. "Mira, my wife, was killed when our fleet engaged yours near the Callisto outpost. At that moment, the bond between her and Alara was severed prematurely." Understanding dawned on Naya. "The crying is a child calling for a connection that no longer exists," Thalen finished. "Our healers believe Alara will not survive much longer without it. Her neural pathways are destabilizing." Naya processed this revelation. "But why would my presence affect her?" "That," Thalen said, stepping closer, "is what fascinates and terrifies my council. Somehow your neural pattern resonates with frequencies compatible with our species. It's unprecedented." Their conversation was interrupted by a tall, stern-faced Varisian woman approaching with deliberate steps. "Counselor Vixara," Thalen acknowledged, his posture stiffening. "Your Highness," she replied coldly, before turning to Naya. "Human physician, the High Council requests your presence tomorrow. We have concerns about your intimate involvement with the royal heir." After Vixara departed, Thalen sighed deeply. "The conservation faction believes human proximity is dangerous. They would rather risk Ilara's life than explore unconventional solutions." Later that night, while monitoring Ilara's sleep patterns, Naya felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. Thalen had returned, carrying 2 cups of steaming liquid. "Lunar tea," he explained, offering one to her. Their fingers brushed during the exchange, sending an unexpected warmth through Naya's hand. The prince quickly withdrew, but not before she noticed the subtle violet flush deepening across his cheekbones. "What was she like?" Naya asked softly. "Your wife." Pain flashed across Thalen's faces, but he answered, "Mira was brilliant. A scientist who believed our species could learn from humans rather than fear them." He smiled sadly. "She would have appreciated your dedication to our daughter." "And you?" Naya ventured. "What do you believe?" Thalen's eyes met hers. "I believe the universe offers solutions in unexpected forms. Sometimes healing comes from the most unlikely sources." As if on cue, Alara stirred in sleep, a small whimper escaping her lips. Without thinking, Naya reached into the cradle, her fingers gently stroking the infant's forehead. Immediately, the child calmed. Thalen watched this interaction with wonder. "Tomorrow, after the council meeting, there's something I need to show you in the ancient archives. I think I found references to a similar case from before our recorded history." As he spoke, his hand unconsciously moved closer to Naya's on the cradle's edge, not quite touching, but close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from his skin. "Whatever happens with the council," Naya promised, "I won't abandon Ilara." What remained unspoken between them, as they stood watching over the sleeping child in the glow of the moons filtering through crystal walls, was that her commitment now extended beyond the infant to the father whose quiet strength and vulnerability had begun to breach the walls around her heart.
Midnight revelations. The council session had been brutal. For 4 hours, Naya stood in the center of a semicircular chamber as 12 Varisian elders debated her presence as if she weren't there. Counselor Vixara led the opposition, her voice cutting through the chamber like ice. "Allowing a human, an enemy combatant until mere months ago, intimate access to the royal bloodline is unconscionable," she had argued, "especially one whose genetic structure inexplicably affects the princess." Only Thalin's authority as regent had ended the debate, though the tension remained palpable as Naya followed him through the ancient archives, a vast cavern where knowledge was stored in crystal shards that glowed from within. "Here," Thalin said, retrieving a particularly old fragment that pulsed with a faint blue light. "This records an incident from the First Age. A Varisian child, orphaned during a natural disaster, was saved by forming a bond with a traveler from beyond our star system." Naya examined the crystal, its surface warm beneath her fingertips. "You're suggesting we attempt something similar with Alara?" "The resonance ritual," Thalin confirmed. "It would create a temporary neural bridge between you and my daughter, allowing her mind to stabilize until she's old enough to function independently." "Temporary," Naya repeated, noticing his hesitation. "What aren't you telling me?" Thalin set the crystal down, his shoulders tense. "The ritual creates a connection that can never be completely severed. You would always be linked to her. To us." The implications hung in the air between them. Naya turned away, needing space to think, as she wandered deeper into the archive. Thalin followed silently, respecting her process. "During the war," she finally said, "I lost my younger brother in the Battle of Europa. I volunteered for this mission partly to escape those memories." "I'm sorry," Thalin said softly. "No," Naya shook her head. "I'm telling you because I understand loss. I understand what it means to have something torn from you without warning." She faced him fully. "I'll do the ritual." Relief and something deeper flooded Thalin's expression. Impulsively, he reached for her hands, clasping them between his own. The contact sent a shock of awareness through them both. For a moment, they stood frozen, the air between them charged with unspoken possibility. "Naya," he whispered, her name sounding like music in his voice. The moment shattered as a guard rushed into the archives. "Your Highness, the princess has taken a turn for the worse. The healers request Dr. Reeves immediately." They ran through crystalline corridors, the guards struggling to keep pace with their desperate sprint. In the nursery, they found Alara convulsing, her small body arched in distress as healers worked frantically around her. "Her neural patterns are collapsing," the chief healer explained. "We're losing her." Without hesitation, Naya pushed through to the infant's side. "Prepare for the resonance ritual, now." Vixara stepped forward from the shadows. "This is madness. The ritual hasn't been performed in millennia." "Stand aside, counselor," Thalin commanded, his voice carrying the full weight of royal authority. "As regent and father, I authorize this procedure." As the healers hastily prepared the ancient ceremony, Naya placed her palm gently on Alara's forehead. The child's eyes fluttered open, fixing on Naya with a desperate recognition. "Hold on, little one. I'm not leaving you." Thalin moved to stand beside her, his hand finding the small of her back in a gesture of support. In that touch, beneath the fear and urgency of the moment, something profound passed between them, a connection that neither had anticipated, but that now seemed as inevitable as the rising of Varis's 3 moons over the crystalline bay.
Bridges between stars. 1 month after the resonance ritual, Naya stood on the royal balcony watching vessels from Earth descend through Varys's atmosphere, the first diplomatic delegation since the war. Through her bond with Alara, she sensed the child's peaceful sleep, a constant reassuring presence in the back of her mind. "They're early," Thalin said, joining her at the railing. He wore formal attire befitting the regent of Varys, but his demeanor remained relaxed around her, eager to see the mysterious human who's become part of the royal household. Naya smiled wryly. "I imagine Earth's government has questions about my decision to stay." "Regrets?" he asked softly. She turned to him, reaching out to trace the line of his jaw with her fingertips. "None." The past month had transformed everything. With Alara thriving, Naya had immersed herself in Varysian culture while helping establish the promised medical exchange. More significantly, her relationship with Thalen had deepened beyond the initial bond, growing into something neither had anticipated but both now cherished. Their quiet moment was interrupted by a palace attendant. "Your Highness, Counselor Vexara requests an urgent meeting before the Earth delegation arrives." Thalen sighed. "The opposition never rests." "Go," Naya urged. "I'll check on Alara and join you for the reception." In the nursery, Naya found Elder Chiron already there, watching over the sleeping princess with a thoughtful expression. "The child flourishes, as does the bond." "Yes," Naya agreed, gently stroking Alara's cheek. "It's stronger than I expected." "And your bond with Thalen?" Chiron asked, his ancient eyes knowing. Heat rose to Naya's face. "That was unexpected." "Perhaps not," Chiron smiled. "There is an old Varisian belief that souls recognize each other across lifetimes and species. Some things are written in the stars." Their conversation was cut short by a commotion in the corridor. Counselor Vexara burst in, followed by two Earth officials and a flustered Thalen. "Ambassador Chen, Commander Ortiz," Naya greeted at the Earth representatives with surprise. "I wasn't expecting a private meeting." "Dr. Reeves," Ambassador Chen replied stiffly. "Earth Command is concerned about your situation. Counselor Vexara has raised questions about possible coercion or alien influence affecting your judgment." "That's absurd," Naya stated flatly. "Is it?" Commander Ortiz challenged. "You're neurologically linked to an alien child and," he glanced meaningfully at Thalen, "apparently involved with the Varisian regent. Security protocols require your immediate return to Earth for evaluation." Thalen stepped forward, tension radiating from him. "Dr. Reeves remains here by choice and under my protection." "With respect, Your Highness," Ambassador Chen countered. "This goes beyond personal preference. The treaty's medical exchange was never intended to include biological integration between our species." "Perhaps it should have been," came a new voice as Elder Chiron moved to stand beside Naya. "For centuries, our peoples viewed each other as threats. Now, through Dr. Reeves and the princess, we have living proof of our compatibility." Vexara scoffed. "One anomalous case hardly—" "Enough," Naya interrupted, her patience exhausted. "Ambassador, I'll speak with Earth Command directly, but my decision stands. I've committed to Alara and to Varys." She met Thalen's gaze briefly before continuing. "What's happening between our species here is exactly what the peace process needs. Proof that we can do more than coexist. We can connect." A soft cry from the cradle drew everyone's attention. Alara had awakened, her small hands reaching upward. Instinctively, both Naya and Thalen moved to her, their hands meeting as they reached to comfort their daughter. The moment they touched, a soft glow emanated from the contact, visible to everyone in the room. Alara's delighted gurgle broke the tense silence. Ambassador Chen stared, then slowly nodded. "I see there's more happening here than we understood. Perhaps this warrants further exploration rather than intervention." Later, after the Earth officials had departed with promises of continued dialogue, Naya and Thalen stood in the royal gardens under the three moons. Alara slept peacefully against Thalen's chest, one tiny hand curled around Naya's finger. "They'll return with more questions," Naya said quietly. "This is just the beginning." Thalen shifted Alara to one arm and used his free hand to tilt Naya's face toward us. "Whatever comes, we face it together. The bond we share isn't just about neural patterns or alien rituals. It's about choosing each other across stars and species and history." As their lips met in a kiss that felt like coming home, Naya sensed their three-way bond humming with contentment. Above them, the stars of two distant solar systems twinkled in a sky that no longer represented division but possibility. Bridges forming between worlds that once thought themselves irreconcilable, just as the unexpected love between a human doctor and an alien prince had bridged the void in one small princess's heart. In that moment, Naya knew with absolute certainty that she had found her place in the universe, not on Earth or even on Varys, but in the connection between them, in the family she had never expected but now couldn't imagine living without.